r/AskReddit asks, people of Reddit, what is the scariest fact you know? There's an unexploded nuclear warhead off the coast of Savannah, GA, and nobody knows where. I'm gonna find it and explode it. Edit. Ow. The only reason serial killer and pedophile Dean Corll's confirmed murder count was 28 was because Houston police stopped excavating his dump site. If you're murdered and or raped, it will most likely be a member of your family or a close friend than a stranger. Most serial killers operate in a small vicinity of their homes. My dad got picked up by Corll when he was hitchhiking as a teenager. He managed to convince him to drop him off instead of going to his party. I wouldn't be here if you went to that party. No matter who you are, or your age or apparent general state of health, it is possible to simply drop dead at any time from something like a brain aneurysm or previously undiagnosed medical issue. A while back I worked for a medical equipment company. The president's favorite bit was that the most common first symptom of heart disease is sudden death. You're most likely to be raped or murdered by someone you trust. Also sexually assaulted, molested by a family member. I've posted this in a similar thread, but since 1950, there have been 32 nuclear weapon accidents. This could be accidental launching, firing, detonating, theft or loss of the weapon. Of these 32 accidents, 6 of them have been lost and never recovered. Imagine if it's just some prankster who now has 6 nukes and no idea what to do with them because it was just supposed to be a prank and he doesn't want to get in trouble. The Hworyong concentration camp in North Korea is 83 times larger than Auschwitz. And Hwasong is more than twice as large as Hworyong. The fact that an Aztec death whistle sounds like a woman's blood-curdling scream you'd expect to hear when she's in extreme pain. Oh, I remember thinking, how bad can a stupid whistle be? Then I heard it. Jesus, that sent shivers down my spine, and I was safe in my bed. I can't imagine how terrifying hearing several of those would be in the middle of night in a small village. Aztec warriors were the best equipped and trained warriors in Mesoamerica. They had state-of-the-art technology for their culture. The equivalent would be hearing Navy SEALs outside your home playing some kind of horror sounds on a speaker to let you know they are there. Even if you're not scared of the sounds from the speaker, you would be scared that they're hunting you. That out of all of the people you see, meet, or interact with, some of them have murdered someone. I used to think about this a lot when I was a waitress. Murderers aren't always bad people, I've known a few. Just don't give them a reason to kill you. A piece of fiber optic cable can break off, enter your bloodstream, create a ton of mini punctures in your veins, and you'd never feel the initial puncture. That and pulmonary embolisms from shots. I've also heard of people ingesting tiny bits of wire brush used to clean grills and getting into their bloodstream. Fecal coliform bacteria is basically everywhere. You cannot escape it. Am I the only person that isn't remotely disturbed by this? It's a microorganism, there's trace amounts of many things around. The gross thing about poop is the quantity, smell, and fact it's waste, among other things. One thing I do find slightly disturbing, a maintenance friend was telling me about how he feels iffy around pools, because he's had to calculate the average amount of feces per butthole, and it factors into the number of people that can be in the pool. Too many buttholes means too much poop, but some poop is allowed. There's a skeleton inside of you right now. And it's wet. Someone is masturbating reading this. Why would you expose me like that? I found out in a lecture recently that when a nuclear bomb drops, the explosion creates a vacuum. Anything near to the original explosion but wasn't killed or destroyed will be sucked into this, with some bodies going literally inside out with the force, though I do question that, so if anyone has a source please let me know. Also, found out in the same lecture that a Soviet general in the 1980s saved the world as a Soviet system malfunction told its operators that the US had fired the nuclear bomb. The Soviet general was meant to report this, but didn't. If he did, the USSR would have responded, seeing the third use of a nuclear bomb against another power. Human fat burns like candle wax. Big tallow energy. There is no way to stop someone from stealing from you, be it data or physical stuff. You can do things to slow them down or make the risk too high. But someone wants your stuff, it's theirs. Security is only about making things harder. A lock on anything only keeps out an honest person. There are gigantic black holes hurtling through the galaxy at truly insane speeds. Interstellar black holes, and if one was getting close we would be aware of it, because in order to remain a black hole it has to have a mass greater than our sun, and its gravitation would have an obvious impact on our solar system well before it got close enough to consume us. Giant rocks and solar flares are probably the only things from space we have to be worried about at this point. Everything else is observable before it gets close. Something to think about. The rate at which an accident, not deaths, but accident occurs from taking an elevator. 1 for every 1 million miles traveled. The rate at which an accident occurs from taking the stairs. 1 for every 200,000 miles traveled. You're 5x more likely to have an accident walking up and down the stairs than you are by riding in an elevator. There's probably some unknown, deadly bacteria frozen in the ice that's slowly melting in Antarctica. That is actually true and frightening. Scientists have already discovered ancient bacteria in the ice, so we are in danger. There is a brain tumor called a pontonglioma. It can strike anyone, but the overwhelming majority are children ages 5-10. If you get it, you're dead. 100%. There is no cure or effective treatment. Radiation can help temporarily, but it only puts off death for a few months. The only thing you can do is receive palliative treatment and wait to die. The world's water needs are going to double in the next few decades. Not like, gradually increase, but double. Catastrophic worldwide implications are coming. Add to that global warming, and we're all looking at Mad Max. China's one-child policy on population means that in the present generation, you'll hardly find anyone with a real brother or sister. The truly scary part is that a couple generations later, nobody will have a second cousin either. Uncomfortable truth. The policy is only enforced in the cities. They want the rural populations to grow as they provide military fodder and disposable labor forces. Why do you think they are still growing so fast? The one-child policy has been in place for 35+ years, and they are still outpacing American growth rates in population, where we have no such restriction on our population. At any given moment, almost without warning, a gamma-ray burst can come through space and instantaneously end all life on the planet, and we would be powerless to stop it, may not even have time to know it's happening before we're gone. The sun is a deadly laser. If a government were to place satellites in orbit that were armed with inert tungsten rods, these rods would be capable of hitting a target as small as a city block with the kinetic force equivalent of a nuclear detonation. And since these rods from God are completely inert, we would have no idea they were there, or that they were coming. At least 2 governments have explored this idea.